Hey, this is Mark Smith,
Hey, this is David Conley.
and we're here with Digital Roughnecks, episode 3. So today we're going to talk about everybody's favorite subject, and that is regulations.
Yeah,
But hey,
hot topic.
tough topic, and there's new ones all the time, and we have spent hours looking over a couple of big regulations. I'm wearing this Energy Strong hat, so are you. And there was that one regulation coming out with 112.
Sure.
And that was really why Energy Strong was born, really, to kind of go after that deal. And it's pretty simple. What was they want to do a regulation setback?
Yeah. They're changing from a 500 foot to a 2,500 foot setback.
Right.
And the obviously the end result of that would be there's nowhere to drill. So it was basically just a way of saying we don't want oil and gas in Colorado, which was defeated soundly, by the way. So
right. So undeterred by that. Sure. Meanwhile, everybody taking a breathe a sigh of relief. But then there's this other thing called SB 181, which we're going to get into. It's big. There's a lot of stuff, but basically that is 12 different parts. Right. The other 112 is literally a rounding error compared to this one. It is. I like it almost a Hydra, right? Where you cut off one head and boom, the 12-headed thing has come up. But hey, it is reality. It's a law, and now we're in the rulemaking phase, of which some parts have been. But out of that 12, how many would you say are done rules? And
I want to say they've shined like 4 or 5 of them.
Okay.
I think right now we're going through the emission change rulings, which is from like the 500 to the 900 series, I believe. I know the draft rules have been created for the 900 series rules, which is the one that I'm obviously really interested in, just because it affects. It's probably has the biggest impact in terms of E&P companies going crazy regulation, going from something that has to be done every 30 years or every 30 days to every day 24/7. So paying attention to that one. And then there is the AQCC.
Well, we're going to get into all that. So let's get some context here to the folks. Okay.
Okay.
So we just put this sort of toolbox together, and this is really a work in progress, but really to provide context, we see the toolbox of a digital roughneck as these 4 things: automation. So things that you guys are already familiar with: SCADA, total flow, PLCs, stuff that's on the pad right now. Right.
Right.
And, then regulations, which is what we're going to get into today, like SB 181, Regulation 7, EPA, whatnot. And then we'll call this whole remote monitoring and management system. And this is a term that's really common in the IT world. But that involves cameras and AI and networking and intelligent edge devices. This is sort of the new area that's coming up, that this is the kind of stuff that's going to be added to help you be able to remotely manage and monitor your pad, and take it that next step. And then of course the OT stuff, all the mechanical design, right, stuff that I'm now learning that you've lived in for a long time,
and how a camera dumps and how a separator separates oil, water, and gas, all of that good stuff.
Right. So, when someone says, "Hey, I want to automate this," I'm like, "Yeah, what is that?"
Yeah.
They will go, "Oh, this is this." And then I say, "Oh, here's some camera and AI and networking and all this other stuff that we can use to do that." So that's the box. So today we're going to get into regulation. So let's summary of SB 181 Regulation 7 and the impact that these are going to have, like right now, on oil and gas producers. So we thought we'd give a little hierarchy here. You got the federal EPA, people know about that. And then let's take Colorado government. And honestly, a lot of these things are going to show up in other state governments, but Colorado seems to be leading the way in a lot of this stuff. So there's CDPHE, which we'll get into, and that has two lovely subdivisions, AQCC and APCD. Those are ones we're going to get into today. COGCC, which we're not going to talk about too much today. And now one of the things that SB 181 does is it basically gave equal credence to county governments and said, hey, you can be regulated by CAPHE, COGCC. So instead of just getting to fight your regulatory model or stick up for your rights, at one level, the Colorado government, you have multiple levels to deal with.
It literally in SB1 it says whichever one is stricter, that's the one. Like, outright, like, I don't care who's regulating you. You're taking whatever's the most strict regulation. That's what you have to abide by. So that's a big deal. The local control.
Yeah.
Now like Larimer County can come in and say, okay, well, you have to do this, and this without, just kind of so.
That's right. Right. So like in Colorado, you could say, oh, I got everything cooking in Weld County, but in Boulder County,
right,
I'm kind of cooked. So
exactly right. Yeah.
So, all right. So Air Quality Control Commission. So let's talk about that division of the CDPHE. And as I said, it's right here. And we're going to talk about these two. So, SB 181 gave the AQCC the regulatory oversight over oil and gas over anything to do with air quality emissions. Well, I say anything, but maybe I really don't mean that because there's the other one too. All right.
Sure.
So, has 12 different, SB 181 has 12 sections. 903, I think it's G, regulates methane leak detection, which we'll get into. And so then Air Pollution Control Division of CDPHE, it controls Regulation 7, right? So it has some overall emissions per pad regulations as well. In general, the new regulations for 7 impact new pads. Both of these really impact new pads and substantial changes to an existing pad after May 1st. So if you put in a new tank, that's a substantial change to your pad. These all apply.
Correct.
Anything else on that? That's pretty much where these things are.
As for Reg 7, we're talking about that's kind of the ruling where you hear, okay, we have to basically cut our emissions in half. Whenever you're talking about the Air Pollution Control Division, that's kind of what they're responsible for. Even on the flare offs, like they're wanting to go from a 95% efficiency rate to 98% whenever you're flaring gas as well. So I'm not a gas expert by any means or air quality expert by any means, but
we will be.
Yes, as I'm learning and going through it, that's the biggest changes or on Reg 7 that's happening right now is tank gauging or tank monitoring. Because whenever you open a thief hatch or you open one of those tanks, you're letting out substantial emissions, and that's where you hear these 100 tons per year of pollutants coming through. That's where that's coming from. It's where the majority of it's coming from. So that poses the most risk for the E&P companies.
So we're going to get into that. So let's do SB 181. There's a little section that says oil and gas operator of an oil and gas facility shall install continuous emission monitoring equipment at the facility to monitor for hazardous pollutants, methane, VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Okay, so that's a particular one that this kicks in for. So what does that mean? So as we mentioned, new pads, substantially changed pads. Today, an LDAR team checks for leaks every 30 days. Pretty soon, you're going to have to check every minute.
Yep.
LDAR teams, like a team of 6, could go check 100 pads a month, but you can't do that. You can't literally have people live on a pad. Well, I suppose you could, but you'd have to hire so many more LDAR people. So
sure.
The fines are $15,000 a day per leak from the last leak detection. So if you said, hey, my last time I checked was 30 days ago, they would assume that it's been leaking every day. So it's $450,000 a month per leak. We got these new regulators, as we said, CDPHE, AQCC, which we'll get into. And reporting could go as much as from 90 days after a leak to daily, basically showing every single day, hey, my system is working. I am now monitoring real time. Okay.
That's actually stated in the Reg 7, whenever they're talking about the air monitoring equipment, they're talking about that has to be reported, they're even talking about maintaining reports for the equipment itself to make sure that it's been calibrated and correctly installed and all that stuff. That has to be that even has to be given over to them. So I mean, they're digging extremely deep into this, which I guess is to be expected. So
So let's go to the next thing. So the next is Regulation D, Part D, VOC emission monitoring. So this is, I just literally yanked this out of the reg. For storage tanks controlled as of February 14th, pursuant to the system-wide control, must maintain air pollution control equipment through at least April 30th. If an operator can demonstrate that the storage tank has uncontrolled VOC emissions below 2 tons per year,
right,
on a rolling 12-month basis after May 1st, the operator may elect to remove air pollution control equipment or voluntarily maintain such equipment. Okay, so let's translate what that might look like.
Sure.
The problem with current tanks, you got this nice little thing called a waveguide measurement, super accurate, lives inside the tank. Problem, it builds up paraffin, which reduces the accuracy of the measurement. So currently, people just open a tank up to clear the paraffin off, put it back. Each time you open a tank, it releases, I'm going to say conservatively, 1 ton of gas. So since you would only get, literally, you could open it twice a year. That's it. And then boom, you hit the limit.
Yep.
And if you go over 2 tons, then all kinds of other regulations kick in. So how do you solve the real time?
So how do you know if your waveguides are working? That's the question. I guess that's kind of the problem.
But if you can't open it up and clear the paraffin, at some point the accuracy goes down.
Or if they can't open up just a test to see if has buildup on it. They don't you know what I mean? They have no way of knowing if it's working or not.
So bottom line, guys, I think that the whole way we measure tank levels is going to have to change. Right. So one way that we're working on it, Dave and I, is this whole idea of Clean Connect, where you're putting cameras and AI software that look all over a pad and solve for these problems.
Sure.
So what happens is you've got, so if you look at this, you could have these cameras and AI software sitting on a pad, and it's an intelligent edge device. So these models are looking for tank level monitoring, looking for methane leaks, looking for stuff. When they find an exception, a problem, they send an alert up to our app in the cloud. We can send it on over to somebody's, SCADA system. Mm-hmm. And, then we can send it somewhere else. Right?
We run API calls every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So typically, like a waveguide is going to send their measurement every 15 minutes over to Signet or whichever SCADA system you're using, and so what we do is we just time them, and we send the same exact information, and we get them within 10%. And if they're outside of that 10% ratio, then we say, hey, you got a problem. There's the paraffin buildup or whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we're working on. That gives you a quick overview of the regulations. And, if you got any questions, you can check out cleanconnect.ai and schedule an appointment. And we'd be happy to talk to you all about this stuff, how you regulations coming up, how to solve for them, kind of what the state of the art is on some of this camera and AI software.
Can I give a little bonus?
What's that?
A little bonus. Okay, so I found out today that there was actually a shooting on a pad in Colorado. I don't know which area it was. I don't actually know much about what happened. Someone told me, because we got an inquiry about security system, physical security, being on a pad, because a lot of times you'll see that they have security signs posted and whatnot, but if that's actually there or not, it's kind of hit or miss if they follow through with that. But even physical security, I can see something happening in the future. I don't know what that would look like from a regulatory standpoint. Obviously, I think that firearms, shooting is illegal, obviously. But I'm saying, I don't know if would ever be a regulation saying, hey, you have to have physical security on a pad or whatnot. But I think it's just a good thing to even have in general. But I just thought that was interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at, so here's the article, right? Man wanted after firing multiple rounds at an oil field workers in Weld County.
Yeah.
Right? Now, fortunately, it looks like there was a security camera, so it caught the dude and his license plate. Yep. So they actually did find him in Denver and arrested the guy in a hotel. So we're going to track it down.
Yeah.
But this brings up something here, right? I mean, just for worker safety, for other reasons, you just got a real expensive stuff on your pad. You just want to have eyes on the pad, security cameras. So I think between security cameras, between methane leak, between tank level monitoring, I think these three things, again, you got eyes on the pad and you've got software working 24/7, looking at all this stuff for you. Because the last thing you want to do is put a bunch of cameras on pads, and now you've got literally 80 screens to go stare at.
Yeah. That's
it's not going to work. I mean, this is not like.
Nor can you have someone sitting there staring at them for 24/7.
No, people could barely keep up with a Ring doorbell.
Yeah.
What are they going to do if they got literally 80, 100, 160 cameras to go watch 24/7? Not going to happen. You need AI to be staring at it, to look for those things, to find the alerts, and then only send you stuff if there's a problem. So, anyway, so that's an interesting one. Active shooter on an oil and gas pad. Crazy.
Yeah. And I don't know what his motivation was. I'll have to read into that. But
no, it didn't say anything. It didn't really say what the reason was, but anywho. All right. Well, that is it for today's deal. In future episodes, we're going to be talking about other areas in the toolbox that I think are maybe a little more fun than regulations. Anyway. Good. All right. So we'll sign off for now. Again, you guys could check out cleanconnect.ai, and eventually we're going to have our Digital Roughnecks .com website up where we'll have archive of all of these episodes.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
See ya.